Track and field, often called the mother and father of all sports, the pinnacle of human physical performance. It has been at the very core of competition for millennia, and I, an extremely intelligent and analytical track and field fan, am now going to attempt to explain it to you. Except, I'm really not that smart. Track and field in all its glory. The speed, the beauty, the power, the adrenaline, the technique, is basically just a bunch of people running in circles, jumping into sand pits, and throwing heavy objects. Just kidding, of course. Track and field is so much more, and I'm going to take you deep down the rabbit hole. Some of you are probably watching this because you want to get into track and field, which is relatively easy, as you'll soon find out. And if you're already a die-hard fan, I don't really know why you're watching this, but welcome. This journey is going to be epic. So grab your sports drink, wipe away your tears if you're a distance runner, and get ready. This is Track and Field, explained by an idiot. What is track and field? Let's be real for a second. Track and field is basically the adult version of that one sports day from school you either absolutely loved or tried to fake a severe illness to get out of. The only difference is now it's professional. The stakes are higher, the shorts are shorter, and the facial expressions are infinitely more pained. Seriously, every single photo taken during a race looks like someone simultaneously stepping on a Lego and remembering they left the oven on. It's a beautiful, chaotic festival of suffering where grown adults run in circles, throw heavy objects, and launch themselves into a giant sandpit, all for the chance to win a shiny piece of metal and a brief moment of glory before the crippling soreness sets in. It's a soap opera, but with more sweating and less plot. It's not just about who crosses the finish line first. Winning is for amateurs. In the world of track and field, it's all about the numbers. Completely arbitrary, meaningless numbers that we, as a society, have all agreed to lose our collective minds over. You have your PB, or personal best, which is a constant battle against your past self. Then you have the WR, the world record, which is how one person gets to make every other person on the entire planet feel slow and inadequate. An athlete can finish in 5th place and still be celebrating like they just won the lottery because they shaved 0.01 seconds off their PB. It's a video game where the main character is you, the final boss is the clock, and the cheat codes are questionably legal carbon-plated shoes or other things. The real goal isn't just to win the race, it's to get a time or a distance so good that you can post it on social media with a caption like, "Trust the process," ensuring everyone knows just how hard you're working. By the way, if any of this is starting to make a disturbing amount of sense to you, you've found your tribe. You should probably hit that subscribe button right now because trust me, it only gets more unhinged from here. The primary battleground for this athletic circus is the stadium. It features a big green field surrounded by a 400-meter oval of reddish-brown stuff. This is the track. It's a hamster wheel for humans with existential dread. For some reason, the pinnacle of achievement is to run around this thing as fast as possible, only to end up exactly where you started, but significantly more tired and emotionally fragile. But then you have the other breed of athletes, the ones who look at a perfectly pristine, flat, predictable track and think, no, this is too easy. I would prefer to run through a muddy forest, up a hill that hates me personally, and in weather conditions that would make a polar bear cry. This, my friends, is called cross country. It's the rebellious grunge rock cousin of track and field. While track is a controlled, almost surgical environment, cross country is a full-on brawl with nature, where your biggest opponents are hypothermia and hidden tree root. Let's talk about the uniform. There appears to be only one rule in track and field fashion. The less fabric you wear, the faster you go. It's a bold strategy rooted in the science of, well, mostly just looking intimidating. It's a delicate balance between achieving peak aerodynamic efficiency and a public indecency charge. But the real dark magic lies in the footwear. These are not shoes. They are tiny, weaponized trampolines that you strap to your feet. They're called spikes, and the newest versions are so technologically advanced, they basically run for you. They're filled with space-age foam and carbon fiber plates, and they cost more than a month's rent, all for a product with the life expectancy of a housefly. Every time a world record is broken these days, the first question is never about the athlete's training. It's, yeah, but what shoes were they wearing? It's a technological arms race, and we are dangerously close to athletes just bouncing their way to the finish line. The art of running away from your problems at maximum velocity. First up is the 100-meter dash. This race is pure, uncut adrenaline. It's over in less time than it takes to skip a YouTube ad. It's designed for people with the attention span of a goldfish and muscles that are basically controlled explosions. Then you have the 200 meters. This is for the sprinter who enjoys the thrill of the 100, but also wants to experience a little taste of pain as they fight for their life around the bend. And then there is the 400 meters. This is not a sprint. This is an athletic horror story. For the first 200 meters, you feel incredible. You're a golden god flying around the track. But then you hit the final straightaway. This is where a cruel monster made of lactic acid climbs onto your back, your legs forget how to function, and your only goal is to fall across the finish line before you forget your own name. It's the event where souls are tested, broken, and occasionally completely extinguished. If the sprints are a shot of pure espresso, the distance races are a slow, agonizing drip of lukewarm coffee that lasts for anywhere between 2 minutes and 2 hours. This is the category of voluntary suffering. It's for a special breed of human who experiences something called a runner's high, which the rest of us can only assume is a medical condition caused by severe oxygen deprivation to the brain. The 800 meters is a full-on sprint that you have to hold for 2 laps, which is physiologically impossible. The 1500 meters, or the metric mile, is a tactical nightmare that's basically a slow jog followed by 300 meters of pure, unadulterated panic. Then you get into the 5K and 10K. At this point, you're not just racing other people. You're having a full-blown existential crisis, debating every life choice that led you to this moment, all while trying not to get lapped. It's less about who is the fastest and more about who is the best at ignoring the screaming voices in their head and their legs. The finish line is a beautiful collage of human misery, people collapsing, people gasping for air like a fish out of water, and occasionally, people vomiting. It's truly inspiring stuff. This event answers the age-old question. What if we took sprinting, which is already incredibly difficult, and just put a bunch of random barriers in the way? It's a metaphor for life, really. You're running along, minding your own business, feeling good, and then bam! Life throws an obstacle in your path. The goal is to clear these hurdles with the grace of a gazelle. The reality for most is the coordination of a baby giraffe on roller skates. There's a beautiful rhythm to it when done right, but when it goes wrong, it goes spectacularly wrong. All it takes is one tiny misstep, one little clip of the ankle, and you've initiated a domino effect of destruction, taking out hurdles and your own dignity in the process. You can hear the signature sound of a hurdles race from a mile away. That sound is the official soundtrack of shattered dreams and bruised shins. The long jump is the purest expression of the childhood dream of being able to fly. You sprint down a runway with all the intensity of a cheetah chasing its dinner, you hit a tiny wooden board with pinpoint accuracy, and then you launch your body into the air with the single, optimistic goal of landing somewhere other than where you started. It is a beautiful, fleeting moment of defiance against gravity, immediately followed by the gritty reality of getting sand in every single crevice of your body. Then there's the triple jump. This is for the athlete who looked at the long jump and said, "That's cute, but it's not weird enough." It's a 3-part sequence of violent, physics-defying movements called a hop, a step, and a jump. It looks less like a single event and more like a character in a video game who is glitching across the screen. It's awkward, it's bizarre, and it makes absolutely no sense to the casual observer, which is precisely what makes it magnificent. These are the floor is lava events, but with much higher stakes. In the high jump, athletes run at a flimsy bar and then, using a technique that involves contorting their body backwards like they're trying to dodge a question from their parents, they fling themselves over it. It's a game of millimeters, where the difference between glory and failure is a slight twitch of the calf muscle. The suspense of watching the bar wobble after they land is more intense than the final minutes of a horror movie. And then there's the pole vault. This is not a sport. This is a cry for help. You take a comically long, flexible stick, sprint down a runway like you have a death wish, jam that stick into a tiny box in the ground, and pray that it flings your body 2 stories into the air and over a bar without killing you. It is the single most insane event in all of sports. It requires the speed of a sprinter, the body control of a gymnast, and the complete lack of self-preservation of a honey badger. Finally, we arrive at the events for people who just want to throw heavy things really, really far. This is the primal core of track and field. First, the shot put. This involves holding a heavy metal ball against your neck and then putting it, which is basically an angry, explosive shove that starts with a graceful spin and ends with a roar that could curdle milk. The discus is for those who want to throw a giant weighted frisbee. They spin around like a ballerina having a seizure to generate momentum before unleashing the discus on a flight path that is both beautiful and terrifying. The hammer throw is what happens when you give a Viking a cannonball on a wire. They spin it around their head like a human tornado inside a cage and thank God for that cage before letting it fly. And finally, the javelin. This is the only event where you get to pretend you're a Spartan warrior in the middle of a stadium. You get a running start and then hurl a giant spear into the sky. It's objectively the coolest of the throwing events, because who doesn't love throwing a spear? Do you remember being a kid and someone asking what you want to be when you grow up and you just said everything? Well, that's a multi-event athlete. These are the people who are so athletically gifted they couldn't possibly be bothered to choose just one discipline. For the men, it's the decathlon, 10 events spread over 2 grueling days. For the women, it's the heptathlon, 7 events, also over 2 days. This isn't just a competition, it's an athletic identity crisis. One minute they're sprinting, the next they're launching a metal ball from their neck, then they're flying over a high jump bar. It's the Swiss Army knife of sports. The scoring system is a complete enigma, created by a mad scientist who locked himself in a room with a calculator and a desire to confuse everyone. Points are awarded for every performance, and at the end of the 2 days, they feed all the numbers into a supercomputer that spits out a winner. These athletes are a different breed, the overachievers of the track world, proving that yes, you can actually be good at everything, which is just annoying for the rest of us. I want you to imagine you have to get to the bathroom, urgently, but you're in a fancy place, so you have to pretend you're not in a hurry. That is race walking. It is the art of moving as fast as humanly possible without actually running. The central rule is beautifully absurd. One of your feet must be in contact with the ground at all times. The moment both of your feet leave the ground, you are committing the cardinal sin of lifting, which is a fancy word for running and therefore cheating. To enforce this, officials with an eagle eye for pelvic movement follow the athletes staring intently at their hips. They hold up paddles. A yellow one means, "I'm watching you, buddy, you're looking a little too airborne." A red one means you're disqualified. The technique itself is a hypnotic, side-to-side hip wiggle that defies all laws of normal human locomotion. It's the weirdest, most mesmerizing, and most respected/mocked event in the entire sport. Picture the scene. 8 sprinters in the blocks for the 100-meter final. The stadium is so quiet you can hear a pin drop. The tension is unbearable. The athletes are coiled springs of muscle and anxiety, waiting for the one sound that will release them, the starting gun. Bang! But wait. A moment later, a second, more depressing bang rings out. That is the sound of a false start. It's the athletic equivalent of being so excited to tell a joke that you blurt out the punchline first. An athlete's nervous system, overloaded with adrenaline, has betrayed them, causing them to move a millisecond too early. In the past, you might get a warning, but now the rule is one of the cruelest in all of sports. One false start and you are out, disqualified, gone. All your years of training, the travel, the preparation, all evaporated in an instant. You are then forced to take the long, lonely walk of shame off the track as the cameras zoom in on your heartbroken face for the entire world to see. It is pure, concentrated, high-definition failure. Who decides how long a javelin should be or what constitutes a proper race-walking hip wiggle? That would be the governing body, World Athletics. Think of them as the all-powerful, slightly out-of-touch parents of the sport. Their main job is to maintain order, which they do by publishing a rulebook thicker than a dictionary and just as interesting to read. They are the official fun police. Anytime an athlete or a shoe company discovers an innovative new technique or technology that makes things more exciting, you can be sure that a committee at World Athletics will immediately convene to figure out if it gives someone an unfair advantage and how quickly they can regulate it out of existence. They are the mysterious figures behind the curtain, ensuring that for every moment of incredible human achievement, there's an equally baffling disqualification for a lane violation that no one saw. In any race longer than 800 meters, there is a sound that signals the beginning of the end. It is not the roar of the crowd. It is not the pounding of feet. It is the cold, sharp clang of a metal bell. This is the bell lap. It is arguably the most terrifying sound in all of sports. It is a signal that there are exactly 400 meters left. One final lap. All the tactical jogging, all the strategic positioning, all of that goes out the window. The bell is the starting gun for the real race. It's the moment the race transforms from a physical chess match into a desperate, lung-searing brawl to the finish. When that bell rings, you can see a switch flip in the runner's eyes. It's a mixture of pure panic and primal determination. It's the race's way of screaming, "Congratulations on surviving this far. Now prepare for a world of pain." Like any dysfunctional family, the track and field world is full of loving, completely accurate stereotypes. Here are a few. First, you have the sprinters. They are the divas of the sport. They radiate an aura of supreme confidence that borders on arrogance, and their pre-race routines are more choreographed than a Broadway musical. They are the peacocks of the track. Then you have the distance runners. These are the weirdos. Sorry, they are a special kind of crazy. People who genuinely enjoy pushing their bodies to the brink of collapse. Their idea of a fun conversation is a 45-minute debate about heart rate variability and the glycemic index of energy gels. Next are the throwers. They are the big, powerful teddy bears of the team. They spend their time lifting impossibly heavy things and letting out primal roars during competition, but off the field, they are usually the most laid-back, gentle giants you'll ever meet. And then, the jumpers. They are the neurotic perfectionists, obsessed with microscopic details, constantly counting their steps and measuring their approach. They are the brilliant, slightly mad scientists of the group. To understand the track and field season, you need to think of it like your favorite TV show. The Diamond League is the weekly episodic series. It runs all season long, stopping in glamorous cities around the world. It's where you have the same cast of characters, the same star athletes, competing against each other week after week. It's full of ongoing rivalries, petty drama, and shocking plot twists. It's basically the Real Housewives of athletics, but with more world-class performances and slightly less wine throwing. Then you have the World Championships and the Olympics. These are not just another episode. This is the season finale. This is where everything is on the line. It's not about prize money, it's about history, glory, and a lifetime of bragging rights. The pressure is suffocating. This is where heroes are made, legends are born, and everyone, absolutely everyone, ends up crying, either from the pure ecstasy of victory or the soul-crushing agony of defeat. For every breathtaking moment of athletic perfection, there is an equally glorious moment of catastrophic failure. And honestly, these are sometimes more entertaining. The undisputed king of the epic fail is the dropped baton in a relay race. You can have a team of 4 of the fastest humans alive, looking like they're about to shatter a world record. But if 2 of them can't successfully pass a small metal tube between them, it's all over. It's the track and field equivalent of sending a text message to the wrong person. An instant public disaster with no undo button. Then you have the comical hurdle crashes, where a runner doesn't just hit a hurdle, they become one with it, creating a symphony of destruction. Or the high jumper who misjudges their approach so badly they end up going under the bar. These moments are a beautiful, hilarious reminder that these athletes, despite seeming like superhuman gods, are still capable of tripping over their own feet just like the rest of us. So, after all that, after all the jokes about the suffering, the spandex, and the soul-crushing 400s, you might be thinking this sport is a complete circus of organized pain. And you'd be right. But it's also the greatest show on earth. Because for every comical failure, there is a moment that is so perfect it will give you chills. When you watch someone like Armand Duplantis not just break a world record, but completely shatter our understanding of what is humanly possible. When you see a dramatic photo finish in the 10,000 meters, where 2 hours of running comes down to a single, desperate lean at the line. When you witness the raw, unfiltered emotion of an underdog who nobody believed in collapsing on the track in tears after winning a medal. That's the magic of it. It's a sport stripped down to its very essence. Run faster, jump higher, throw farther than anyone has before. In the end, it's about witnessing the absolute limits of human ability being pushed, broken, and redefined right before your very eyes. Or at the very least, watching people try to do all that without tripping over their own feet. So there you have it. You are now officially equipped with enough questionable knowledge to sound like you know what you're talking about at your next Olympics watch party. If you enjoyed this masterclass in misinformation, do all the YouTube things. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video.